Hello and welcome to Eye of Gnosis Tarot. My name is Ewan and today we are looking at the Nine of Wands. So, for any of you who have not seen the previous videos, I highly recommend you go back and look at those. And also stick around for the symbolism and the meanings behind this card before going straight to the Divinatory Interpretations. But you can do, of course, if you've watched this video before and just want a catch-up, or if you already know everything there is to know about this card. There is a timestamp below for those Divinatory Interpretations. Without further ado, we'll get straight into the actual meaning behind this card. 8 arrows cross each other on a dark blue background. They have moon-shaped tips and also moon-shaped fletchings. And these have been crafted onto these crimson shafts, and a 10-pointed star, which is also crimson, some white bursts out behind them. In front of the arrows we see here this single rod, this wand, and it is capped with a blazing sun and a silver moon. Now, unlike the other cards, we don't have a symbol at the top and at the bottom, but we have both symbols here at the bottom. We have the moon, which is the actual arrowhead, and Sagittarius there on the dark side of the moon. The Pink Floyd reference there. The Nine of Wands is the crystallization of energy's journey from its inception in Kether. Potential was created in 1, 2 and 3, stabilized in 4, revolutionized in 5, harmonized in 6, transmuted in 7, and held together in 8. We are now on the verge of the material universe as we perceive it. We are on the event horizon of reality, and the expression of 8's infinity. 9 is the Sephiroth of Yesod, which we spoke about briefly in the 6 of Wands. Yesod means the foundation in Hebrew, and is an echo of Binah and Tiphereth, so that's 3 and 6. Whilst further down the Tree of Life than 7 and 8, 9 shares the harmonious qualities of 3 and 6. Therefore it is the keystone of creation, demonstrating that energy cannot be destroyed. It completes the third triad of the Tree of Life, and hence completes the entire circuit of the Tree of Life. Now, here we come to a concept which we have spoken of before, I will reiterate it here now, and that is mathematically the concept that 9 is the expression of 8's infinity, and that it is the completion of the circuit of the Tree of Life, or the entirety of everything. We can see this when we times 9 by any number. It has a curious quality to it. And this is that if you times 9 by any number, the answer will always add back up to 9 if you're adding the single digits to come back to a single digit. So I'll just give a couple of examples here that are quite simple. If we do 9 times 11, we come to 99, and if we do 9 plus 9, we get 18, and then if we do 1 plus 8, surprise, surprise, we get 9. And I think the most simple one, of course, being 9 times 10. Yeah, 9 plus 0 is, funnily enough, 9. But I can guarantee you can do this with any number, no matter how complicated it may be. Although I do believe it's only whole numbers that this works with. I think I want to test it with a decimal later on, but I won't do that quite now. But I guarantee you do this with any whole number, the answer will eventually add back to 9. Hence, we see that every element, no matter what suit it's in, is endless in Yesod. In this card, we see endless energy, fire, and this is described as strength, which is a bit blurry on my rubbish camera, but again, the more of you that subscribe, the more of you that like my videos, the better quality camera I shall buy. So 9 is strength in the sense that it supports the whole of creation. It is the foundation, which is what Yesod means, and is in an endless loop. It demonstrates the notion that true harmony can only be found in change. So this is not the static loop of 8. This is true infinity. This is expanding forever. So it doesn't come back to itself as such. It keeps going out. All opposites have now been unified again in 9. However, unlike other harmonious Sephiroth, Yesod has the final say in this harmony, as it perpetuates both the supernal triad above the abyss and Tiphareth's reflection below it. Spiritually, we can see this 3 times 3 as the Vedic Trimurti, and this is echoed across the Christian Trinity as well. In the Christian sense, 9 is the Holy Spirit, which leads directly to Tiphareth, which is known as Christ consciousness. And via Tiphareth we come to Kether, which is the concept of the one, the whole God, so to speak. When we look at the Major Arcana, because the Major Arcana represent these paths between the Sephiroth, there's some quite poignant cards which represent this journey from Yesod to Tiphareth to Kether, which is the path of enlightenment. Thus, with Yesod, the circuit is complete, as we've said before, via the sequence of 1 to 9, as well as the, so that can be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but it can also be complete via the central trunk of the Tree of Life, which is 1, 6, 9. This concept is paralleled by the Svadhisthana chakra, I think that's how it's pronounced, which means where the self is established. This reinforces 9 as the foundation, as it is where Atman becomes fully manifested and aware of itself, realizing that it is the entirety of existence. Of course, Atman is the Vedic term for the self with a capital S, so the consciousness within us, the super self. Looking into the symbolic meanings of this card, the lightning bolts we saw in the 8 of Wands have now become arrows. Now arrows are a potent symbol of Sagittarius, but also the giving direction to the energy that we saw in 8. The arrows are tipped with fletchings of the moon, and as the card is attributed to the moon in Sagittarius, this is a very unsubtle nod towards it. As we see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 moons on each one of the quills, the fletchings, should I say, of the arrows, and then we've got the 9th moon as the head of each one. So the moon in Sagittarius, normally this implies daydreaming, independence and spontaneity. These traits can be well or ill dignified, but here they are virtuous, as Yesod is ruled by the moon, and hence gives momentum to these traits. Also, this is because the moon is transitionary in nature. And whilst this may seem unstable for the foundation of existence, this is quite the point. Crowley equates this to riding a bike, whereby moving at speed allows us to attain balance. Hence, change is stability. And in terms of strength, the best defence is one that is mobile and flexible. This is again characterised by Sagittarius, who, when well dignified, will learn new ideas in order to reach the truth. And I do believe that I got into this kind of stuff because I am a Sagittarius rising, Mercury in Sagittarius, and a Venus in Sagittarius, and my North Node is in Sagittarius. But as we shall see when we come to the Ten of Wands, it's not all plain sailing for me. The central wand is 9, and the moon at its base represents Yesod, which is quite clear. And just to give you a little spoiler for the moon major arcana card, the moon generally represents the unconscious. The sun above represents Tippereth, and this is consciousness and the route back to Kether. In the if the 8 arrows are sequential routes back to 1, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then this wand in the centre is that path we talked about earlier, that is the trunk of the Tree of Life, going through 6 and back up to 1. Now, I think earlier on I spoke about the major arcana that play important roles in this path. I'm just going to touch on them here, because I think it's quite poignant. So this path between 9 and 1, it begins with the Art card, also known as Temperance in other tarot decks. And the Art card is attributed to Sagittarius and links Yesod to Tippereth. And then from Tippereth to Kether, we have the High Priestess card, who is attributed to the moon. So this is why we're touching on the major arcana, because we see that even they represent that moon in Sagittarius. Thus we see how Sagittarius, the cosmic sage, teaches mindfulness, which opens the path to compassion and higher consciousness. This in turn allows consciousness to unite with the divine feminine, Shakti, who is the whole, the High Priestess, reflecting the light of Tippereth to join with Kether. So I think it's quite important to note here, when we're talking about feminine and masculine, we of course not talking about gender. Our genders are just imperfect expressions of these higher concepts, and we have both of the divine masculine and feminine within us. And the feminine is being, hence represented by the moon, and as a reflecting quality, whereas the divine masculine is doing, and it's shown by the active nature of the sun. And there is neither one is better or worse than the other. It just simply is how the universe works, and they're both beautiful in their own right. I think because of the masculine culture we've lived in since the dawn of civilization, unfortunately, we kind of see the feminine qualities as negative, but in reality they are just as exalted as the divine masculine. And here we see this represented by the balance between the moon and the sun. So we're going to go on to the divinatory interpretations of this card now. Overall, the Nine of Wands represents the strength found in being open and flexible. There is still strife, as 9 has usurped the stasis of 8. However, it is of a confident and direct kind, like an archer who hits their mark by knowing exactly when to let go of the bow's tension. And this is an art form in Japan, whereby being able to let go of the bowstring at the correct time is a key part of the skill. and a key element of that, because that might sound bloody obvious when I say that, is that the point is not overthinking it is the key. It's a mindful exercise, and hence an art. Which, funny enough, links straight back to the art card and Sagittarius. When well dignified, the card represents enlightenment, truth-seeking, success through effort, and victory after fear. When ill-dignified, it is obstinate, contradictory, and unrealistic. The key concept is strength in flexibility. And that is, this is like learning to bend in the wind, like a willow branch. And if you know about willow branches, they're very difficult to snap. But that's not because they're rigid, but because of their bendiness, their subtleness. So I think the key lesson here is to learn how to bend so we do not break, and that is true strength. Thank you again for watching one of my videos. If you like this video, please do hit that thumbs up button below. If you want to see more content, we'll be finishing the Wands suit, at least the Minor Arcana, in the next video, so I do highly recommend you stick around for that. If you want to see that video, then please do subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. So I wish you have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and may peace be upon you all, and goodbye.